Okay, please be forewarned, this video is going to be very heavy. It's going to be difficult, and if you don't want to hear American service members describing their experience, the atrocities that members of the US military committed in Iraq and Afghanistan, this is not going to be the video for you. And the reason that I'm going to show you these clips in just a moment is because I posted on Blue Sky yesterday saying that, I'm not trying to be glib. In permaculture, we say the problem is the solution. In every terrible thing that happens, in every incident of failure, in every wrong action, we want to look for the solution for how we can either get justice coming out of that action going forward, how we can refine and do better next time. And it's not saying like, we got to look on the sunny side and there's always a silver lining. That's not what I'm saying at all. But when I look at Donald Trump waging a war of aggression in Iran, I think like this is terrible. Human rights violations, killing 658 little girls in a school and 15 teachers so that he can try and distract us from the fact that he and our government are protecting pedophiles who are have assaulted, trafficked women, boys and girls, right? It's so terrible. It's so terrible to think about the capacity for evil that the men in our government have, that the billionaires have, that the Epstein class has. Donald Trump is willing to wage a war against Iran because Bibi Netanyahu wants him to, right? What information is he holding over Donald Trump to get him to do what he wants? But then also just to try and make sure that Trump and his buddies don't face justice for decades of crimes that they've committed. So I'm not saying that like there's a sunny side to this. I am saying that there are good things that can come out of this in terms of justice. If we help bring that justice about, if we say, okay, instead of this just all being awful, how can we use this as a situation to work toward justice, to work toward recompense, to work toward doing things differently, building a different way, a different society, where we don't have warmongering, where we don't have the war machine, we don't have war pigs in the US, right? This is about Lockheed Martin and defense contractors, Palantir making billions and billions of dollars, the oil industry making shit tons of money. This is about capitalism. This is about profit and money, killing little children, trafficking little girls. All of this is all about money. It's all about the super rich and their insatiable greed, insatiable desire for control. So if this is happening to us, if this is happening to folks in Iran, and we can't stop it yet, we're going to stop it. But what can we take out of this to work toward justice? And one of the things I've been seeing a ton on social media over the last few days is service members who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan coming forward and sharing their experience. We're seeing elevation of the words and video clips from that time period. And for me, I look at what's happening right now in Iran, and I think, is this a chance for there to be justice for what we've done, our country, not we, the American people, but what our government has done, what the corporations running the war machine have done in the Middle East for decades? Is this a chance for us to work through and right the wrongs of the Iraq War, the Gulf War, of multiple Gulf Wars, right? And so I think it's definitely a chance for us to deconstruct from the kind of patriotism that has been really rampant in the US with the war on terror, right? Making us subjugate ourselves and hand over so many of our rights for the Patriot Act, for the Department of Homeland Security, because we needed the government to protect us from terrorism. It's a chance to maybe have an honest conversation about how this country uses young people, exploits young people, especially those who are from socioeconomically disadvantaged backgrounds, entices them into enlisting in the military with all kinds of promises, education, the GI Bill, etc., and then uses them to commit atrocities overseas so that corporations, so that the Epstein class can profit, right? Maybe it's also a chance to have a conversation about how there are people who are itching to commit atrocities and they sign up for the military, they sign up for law enforcement, they sign up for ICE, right? There are men who enjoy hurting children and women, who enjoy killing other people, who enjoy that power, and they exploit avenues like the military, like the clergy, but also like ICE. And we should be talking about that, and how in the name of patriotism, in the name of like honoring our veterans, our government and our whole society likes to cover that fact up. So I'm going to show you some clips here. And in doing so, please understand, some of them are really, really awful. They're really awful. I had a really hard time after watching some of them yesterday. But it prompted me to think, like, how can we use all of this awfulness to seek justice, to pursue justice, and also to dismantle the systems that have created all of this war in the Middle East in the first place, and the way that our government and mega corporations in the United States have contributed to injustice and murder for so long. I think that there is an element of we need to bear witness. I think especially when it comes to the Gulf War, there's an awful lot of people who don't really understand what it was like. And I'm so proud of all of our service members, all of our veterans who are willing to come forward right now in this moment and say, no war in Iran. No war in Iran. We're going to talk honestly about what happened in the war in Afghanistan and the war in Iraq. And we can't do this again. There's no reason for this. So grateful for all of the veterans who are coming forward now. So I'm going to show you these clips. If you need to fast forward through some of them, that's okay. But I really would encourage you, if you're able to watch the whole thing, watch all of them, and then we'll come back.
One of the first things I remember hearing was a little girl crying, and I knew that the cry was coming from the van that was there. And I ran up to the passenger side door with one of the privates who was with me, and we looked inside the van, and the private that I was with started vomiting and ran away because he couldn't bear to look at the children the way they were. What I saw was a little girl. She was probably about 4 years old, sitting on the bench seat with a severe belly wound and glass in her hair and in her eyes. She couldn't blink or close her eyes, and she was crying like it wasn't a pain cry. It was a cry that me having children, knowing that my daughter was the same age as this little girl, waking up from a horrible nightmare in the middle of the night, and it was almost blood curdling. Next to her, in the middle of the bench seat, half on the floorboard with his head resting on the bench seat, was a boy about 7 years old. I immediately thought he was dead because he had a severe wound to the right side of his head. And in the driver's seat was who I assumed was the father, the way he was hunched over them in a protective manner. And he was completely destroyed. There was no way that he had survived. I grabbed the little girl out of the van, yelled for a medic, and we took her to the house that was directly behind the vehicle. I go back outside to the van, and I don't know actually why I went to the van. I thought that the boy was dead and the father was dead, but when I went back out there, the boy took a labored breath, and that's when I started screaming out that the boy's alive, the boy's alive. When I took him to the Bradley, my commanding officer, or my platoon leader, was there, and he told me that I needed to quit worrying about these MFing kids and to go pull security. While sitting on the rooftop, I could hear them firing the Hellfire missiles into houses. I saw the pictures of the families that were in these buildings. There were no armed men in these buildings. They were just families, women, children, who were killed. That was one incident of many that you guys got to see. Things like this happened almost on a daily basis in Iraq. They may not have been an Apache. It could have been a Bradley. I saw a Bradley fire on a van load of children, nothing more than children, and watch the Iraqi police pull bodies out, pieces of children, and the whole time they're looking at us shaking their heads. That we're over there and we're killing innocent people. These are people who are only trying to live their lives.
Go through blasting. Yeah! Shut him around! Whoever threw that was you. Oh, nice talk. Is that Mitchell? Yeah, he's helping him in there. Well, he's been right on all day. He's throwing dirt balls at you right now. That's it. A few rocks, dirt balls. Be decisive on what you shoot.
So I gave the order for them to use the missiles on the building. So we hit it, and then we stormed into the building, and there was two 14, well, looked about a 14-year-old kid, a 6-year-old kid, and a young, maybe this could have been her husband. I couldn't tell because he was so messed up, and a woman that was bleeding, but not not severely, and all she was screaming, "Why, Laish, Laish?" And I broke down. I leaned up against the wall, and as my rest of my Marines cleared through the building, and I sat there with the corpsman trying to do something about it. But I started to cry. I wanted to rip my hair out, what hair I did have, and go nuts. And the woman, seeing my reaction, came up to me and put her hand on my cheek and said, "Inshallah," which is God's will. Because these people over there, it doesn't matter what bad things happen to them, that they can accept it right away as God's will because they're deeply religious. But no, it wasn't God's will. It was my fucking order. I gave the order to fire those rockets into that building, and I killed her family.
Do you like girls or boys?
Yes.
Are you Alibaba?
Yes.
Do you,
Yes.
you know where IEDs are?
Yes.
Do you like to kill Americans?
Yes.
Are you going to try to blow us up when we leave?
Yes.
You're a devil child.
Yes.
Do you like Americans?
Yes.
Do you want to kill us?
Yes.
Fuck them, dude. Anyone with a fucking rag on their head is fair game. Girl. She's probably like 15 years old.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's hot, dude. Body on that girl. Really tight.
They always wear it like you can't see them, right?
You know, I hadn't been touched yet. She was fucking prime.
Oh.
So, guys, he started pimping her out for $50 a shot. I think at the end of the day, you know, he made like $500 before she hung herself. Really? Yeah.
She hung herself? How come she hung herself?
I don't know. She wasn't happy. It was culture. It's really shunned upon if you get raped. You know, I guess she would have been stoned to death anyways by her people. Yeah. You know? It's fucked up.
No, she was fucked anyway, I guess.
Yeah, right.
In more ways than one.
So watching all of those again, I'm so ashamed at what our government has done. I don't think that most members of the military enjoy murdering people. I don't think that most of our service members are actually okay with the atrocities that are committed. I think there's a reason so many veterans come home deeply traumatized. There's a reason so many veterans struggle with their mental health and substance use. There's a reason that in American cities, our homeless populations are anywhere between 11, 12, and 30% veterans, right? Homeless folks very, very often have deep trauma from their service in the American military. We also make young men and women do awful things. Violence, inhumanity is normalized by serving the military, by being commanded to do things, by becoming numb to having all of that cruelty and inhumanity and atrocity surround them on a daily basis for months and months on end. And let's not forget that the military, it's time to go watch Jarhead again, everybody, right? It's the military conditions young people. It strips their humanity away and makes them willing and unquestioningly obedient when it comes to committing crimes. So what do we do with all of this? I think it's important for us to continue to have conversations, really frank conversations about the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan, as we're looking at Donald Trump wanting to put boots on the ground in Iran, wanting to send our sons and daughters. I know I said in a video yesterday that the GOP is not going to reinstitute the draft. Caroline Leavitt and Donald Trump have hinted today that they would be open to having the draft. That says to me that they would like to use up all of our enlisted members to the point where they have to institute a draft. That's the scale that they're thinking of. Endless human bodies, endless lives for the war machine, so that Lockheed Martin can rake in big profits, so that Palantir can rake in big profits, so that Donald Trump can do the bidding of Bibi Netanyahu, so that Donald Trump can try and avoid justice for himself and everybody else in the Epstein class. They are committed to using all of us. They have no problem killing all of us in the name of their endless pursuit of inhumanity and greed. And I think that that's a conversation we should be having over and over again. What is this for? What's the point of this war? What are they doing this for? Who benefits? Who will lose? Who will suffer and die? The people of Iran, right? Innocent civilians in Iran, innocent Americans as well, members of our military as well. This will hurt all of us for what? What's the point of it? We have to have these conversations. We have to bear witness, and we have to have these conversations if we're ever going to hope to get reforms and to change the system so that this doesn't happen again. And I understand that there's no like one and done. It's an endless pursuit of justice. It's an endless pursuit of dismantling the Epstein class. Like for me, watching these service members and that video footage of what folks have done in Iraq and Afghanistan and what's happening now with Donald Trump glibly saying like, oh, we're just going to have casualties. We're just going to lose American lives in this needless war of aggression. To me, I can't help but see the connection between Iran, the Epstein class, the billionaires in this country, the fact that it really comes down to there is no war but the class war. It's really the working class. It's really the people against the elites. It's the people against the Epstein class. They don't see us as human beings. You look at those atrocities, they get us to dehumanize each other. Look at how MAGA dehumanizes immigrants, trans people, Black Americans, dehumanizes all of us. And they want us to dehumanize MAGA. We're all people. We're all people. And actually, right, us, the people of Iran, we all have a shared oppressor, and it's the super rich. It's greedy, malignant, narcissistic, malevolent men who have an insatiable need for power and wealth. We all have a shared oppressor, and there really is no war but the class war. So for me, when I look at all of this, I just think like there is a solution, and that solution is our shared liberation because we have one oppressor, right? We get justice for Jeffrey Epstein's victims. We get justice for the people in Iran, the people of Iraq. We get justice for our service members. We get justice for the immigrants in concentration camps right now, for the families that have been destroyed by Stephen Miller and ICE. All of that happens by understanding who it is that has committed all of these crimes. Who is it that benefits from all of this inhumanity and cruelty? And it's the super rich. It's the billionaires. It's Elon Musk. It's Peter Thiel. It's all of these mega rich, megalomaniacal men who treat us as pawns, as cogs, as playthings, as entertainment in their wars, in all of the horrible acts that they carry out, right? They only want to use us for their pleasure, for their profit, for their entertainment. So I think about the permaculture mindset of how do we craft a solution coming out of this? Well, to me, maybe I'm wrong here, but to me, it seems really obvious that the solution is that we tax the rich out of existence. We build a society, a government with really, really strong protections to make sure that these people cannot influence our government, that they don't get a say in who our elected officials are because they're controlling everything. They control the war machine, they control the military, they control the executive, they control Congress, they control SCOTUS right now. And so if we want a country where we aren't sending our sons and daughters to die in the president's wars of aggression because he gets some whim, if we aren't sending our children off to murder other people's children so that billionaire corporations can get big, fat defense contracts, then we need some serious reforms. We know that when you have a resistance movement, part of what you have to work toward a revolutionary movement is what kind of society do you want to build going forward? That's why I'm always asking people, what do you want after this? What kind of reforms do we need? What kind of justice should we be seeking? What does that look like? We have to envision that now so we can start to move in that direction, so we can build out those parallel structures for the kind of society that we want going forward. And as I'm looking at all of this footage and all of these testimonies from our service members in the Middle East over the last decades, I think that that's part of that picture. That's part of understanding where we've been, how awful it's been, and how we cannot have any more of this. We can't repeat it right now in Iran. We have to make sure that it doesn't happen down the road. And that requires mega, mega reforms. That requires huge guardrails. That requires us, the people, being able to control our government, having the dream of a representation in government, having a democracy that functions for us and not for the billionaire class, not for the Epstein class, right? That's a worthy and good dream. That's not just a dream, y'all, it's a goal. It's a worthy goal to create a society where we get to decide, where we have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for the American people, where we can be prosperous and enjoy our lives and not go and die, not send our children to go and die harming other people in the name of profit, in the name of rich people avoiding justice. So I don't know, I realize this is a long rambly video, but this is something that I'm just thinking about over and over and over again. Every clip I watch, it's patterns repeating themselves, right? What Israel and our government have been complicit in doing in Palestine, totally connected to what George Bush sent our sons and daughters to do in the Middle East, completely related to what Donald Trump is doing right now in Iran and wants to do in Cuba, is doing in Cuba with the embargo, what Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump and his buddies did with children and women that they trafficked. It's all connected. And so there's a shared oppression, a shared liberation, a shared pathway toward justice. And we have to start envisioning that and making real concrete plans for what it would look like to get justice. Who is going to do that work for us? What are those steps? What do you envision?